Scranton, once known for its bustling coal and steel industry, has been described today as a city stuck in time. Although production has moved overseas, renewable energy is on the rise, and businesses have moved to more populated areas, Scranton still remains a powerhouse city when it comes to playing a vital role in the American democratic system. Scranton has had a strong political impact in presidential elections since the beginning of its relevance in 1877. At that time, coal miners like the ones shown here and railroad workers were the main workforce. In 1877, the two groups of people decided it was time for their needs to be heard and had a general strike like the one pictured above. This strike ended up lasting 8 days, where no one in the workforce went to their job until the railroad workers were treated properly. It was then that political leaders knew Scranton would be a great place to campaign. President Rutherford B. Hayes came to Scranton in 1878 and addressed the crowds after the Battle of Wyoming, where thousands were killed. Hayes understood the political importance of Scranton and its hardworking people. He knew that their collective voice may help bring him to the White House. Later on, Scranton ended up voting Republican to give him a second term as president by one electoral vote. Dr. Gene Harris of the Political Science Department at the University of Scranton said that Scranton has such a political impact because of its tendency to be unpredictable in its vote.
Anyway, the Scranton area has been paid attention to in politics for a long time. Media always come, they see it as a bellwether forecaster for what's going to happen in presidential elections, which is changing somewhat, although even in the last presidential election, Lackawanna County did go to Hillary Clinton, but barely, and Luzerne County, south of us, was much more toward Trump.
Presidents have also had open lines of communication with residents of the city. President Abraham Lincoln appointed Douglas J., a Scranton man, as the new postmaster on April 22, 1871, as shown in this testimony. Historically, Scranton has been a city that leans more conservative. President Ronald Reagan visited Scranton in April of 1980 when the time came for Reagan to run for re-election. The city greeted him with open arms and took every opportunity to hear him speak. One man even wrote a poem to President Reagan. The poem read, "I was never a Reagan fan. I voted for another man. In spite of my misguided voice, the people made the proper choice. My favorite was Kennedy, but now my views I'll remedy. I'll do what is right in '84. I'll help get Reagan 4 years more." President Reagan responded with a letter that read, "As a former Democrat myself, I want to thank you for your poem, so handsomely framed, and your letter. I may frame that as well. Believe me, you brighten my day and many days to come, and you make me very proud. Words are inadequate to express my appreciation. I'll just do my best to earn your continued trust. Again, my heartfelt thanks and best regards. Sincerely, Ronald Reagan." Others, like President Gerald Ford and President Barack Obama, have also come to Scranton to campaign. Dr. Harris believes that Scranton is a common place for candidates to stop because the city is both a middle ground and a possible determinant of how the Middle States will vote.
Scranton is kind of a good stopping point. It's a good path to take is through Scranton. It also is seen as having demographics that did replicate a lot of the Northeast, eventually the Rust Belt, but also Midwest as well, a lot of white ethnic groups. And so that is why people thought it would be a good place to get a measure of people's presidential preferences.
Dr. William Parente, a professor in the Political Science Department at the University of Scranton, believes that presidential candidates make their way through the city because of its strong democratic ties.
Well, it's traditionally a highly democratic area, and so if you're a Democrat, you come here to whip up enthusiasm and to get all those Democrats here in Lackawanna County to come out and vote for you. If you're a Republican, you want to come here and show them that you're not a beast.
Whatever the reason, Scranton and its strong political ties are here to stay. The citizens are patriotic, hopeful, and inspired by the immense influence that their city has. even if the Electric City is still stuck in the times.